You have the floor, madam.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I read this statement on behalf of the Environment and Development NGOs. Mr. President, I would like to thank you for the honor of being invited to speak here today as a representative of a group of environment and development non-governmental organizations from around the world. We are a diverse group gathered in Rio, and we carry with us the struggles and aspirations of people who are fighting for an ecologically sound and socially just future for the planet. We have followed the UNCED process from its inception. Some of us have tirelessly walked the horse of the United Nations for 2 years, making serious proposals for action to the governments of the world. Others have watched the process from afar with a strong desire that the political leaders and government officials would rise to the occasion and meet the challenges presently confronting the human species. We have distinguished at least 3 different approaches in the UNCED process. There are those governments which are seeking the urgently needed structural changes in the way we manage our resources and share their benefits. There are those who are seeking merely cosmetic adjustments in a hopelessly unsustainable economic, social, and environmental order. And then, Mr. President, there are those who are simply bent on preventing progress. UNCED has brought a leap in public awareness of key environment and development issues, and its failure or success must be assessed on the basis of the progress it makes on issues that are vital to building environmentally sound and socially equitable societies. These include eliminating poverty, fair and environmentally sound trade, reversal of the net flow of resources from south to north, clear recognition of the responsibilities of business and industry, changes in wasteful patterns of consumption, internalization of the environmental and social costs of natural resource use, equitable access to environmentally sound technology and its benefits, redirection of military expenditures to environmental and social goals, and democratization of local, national, and international political institutions and decision-making structures. Without progress on these issues at UNCED and beyond, policies and actions agreed to at UNCED and elsewhere on such concerns as toxics, oceans, energy, forests, and deserts, and on Convention on Climate Change and Biodiversity will be seriously undermined. Solutions must be found to growing north-south inequities and increasing ecological degradation. But, Mr. President, changing inequitable social structures within countries is equally important. During the UNCED process, NGOs have put forward concrete recommendations for action on the fundamental issues we have highlighted. Many of these were outlined in a 10-point plan to Save the Earth Summit presented to governments by a group of NGOs during the last preparatory meeting for UNCED. We warned at that time that urgent action was needed to ensure that the Earth Summit realizes its original vision. Clearly, the Earth Summit has not fulfilled all of its original vision and mandate. Many of the issues we have raised have been brushed aside. Some of the government decisions taken at UNCED on key issues are utterly irresponsible. Other decisions, however, open up positive perspectives for the future if the political will exists fully to carry them out. New patterns of international cooperation are required to address global concerns, but unfortunately, negotiations so far have often been compromised by the paralyzing logic and narrow interests of traditional power politics. However, The nature of the environment and development debate has changed forever. UNCED has achieved the first step in the integration of these two concepts. Issues such as poverty, trade, and debt were put on the negotiating table and, as never before, discussed by such a broad range of governmental and non-governmental actors. However, what has been gained through UNCED risks being sabotaged by the failure of governments to make commitments to concrete actions on certain key issues. It is very disappointing that a country such as the US, which plays a leading part on the world stage and bears great responsibility for environmental degradation and consumes so much of the Earth's resources, has failed to fulfill its role in the international community. At the same time, we recognize the collective responsibility of all governments and, in fact, of all sectors of society in this failure. The important, indeed vital role which NGOs and social movements have to play in the international negotiations has been broadened through the UNCED process. UN procedures will never be the same again. One of the most positive results of the Earth Summit process is the growing strength of the international environment and development movement. We NGOs have been meeting for 2 years now and have been building bridges between the North and South, East and West. We will continue our struggle towards a democratic, socially equitable, and ecologically sustainable world. We are empowered through our own networks and have developed cooperation treaties for concrete action. We recognize the progress made in many areas in UNCED, and we will continue pushing vigorously and relentlessly for the steps yet to be taken. We will fight to ensure that those tools that UNCED has created to achieve a new pattern of civilization are used democratically, fully, and effectively. We urge you, the elected leaders and governments assembled here, to do the same. Thank you very much, Mr. President.